Ringo TV Reactions, back at you again with another one. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe.
You guys, next, lost my earring. I will see you guys next Monday at 6:30 p.m. back here on Face the Reality Radio, on the Instagram and on the Facebook. And until then, fuck the police. Fuck them.
Yo, nigga, buy that paper. 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 Yeah. True man, I'm free. I wake up a new episode. I pop out cleaners, keep me up a level though. She talk to me like I'm not me. I get it though. Yeah. I'm so eclectic, on me to the credits roll. Talk down to me, they might have to send medical. I'm out the league, I'm OD, they pathetic though. Look how I move, I'm protected. Shawty so swoon in my presence. The world going through it outside, they unruly, but I keep it cool, they can't press me. I keep it pure with intention. They see what I'm on, ain't no vixen. I might slide through with that top down. I keep it tuned with a high power. Put it on me, I'm blessed. Young nigga blessed. Big bag, manifest the sky, no stress. Keep no evil around me, can't ground me. I built it since when I had less. No hex on, God can't pause, nigga, look at how far we progress. Whatever we doing, we keeping it fluid, I don't see a thing. Yo, nigga, buy that paper. 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 Hop on that jet, had to switch to the coast. One of a kind, I've been playing that role. They pay me to play me, I needed it for. It's real if I said I meant what I spoke. I'm legend, it's written, I shake up the city. Spin block till I'm dizzy, won't ever go broke. I'm chose, I must like do it at top down. I keep in tune with a high power. Put it on me, I'm blessed. Young nigga blessed. Big bag, manifest the sky, no stress. Keep no evil around me, can't ground me. I built it since when I had less. No hex on, God can't pause, nigga, look at how far we progress. Whatever we doing, we keeping it fluid, I don't see a thing. Yo, nigga, buy that paper. 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 Put it on me, I'm blessed. Big bag, but if it's the sky, no stress. Can't ground me, I know this since when I had less. Look at how far we progress. Lord, I don't see a threat.
You guys, next, lost my earring. I will see you guys next Monday at 6:30 p.m. back here on Face the Reality Radio, on the Instagram and on the Facebook. And until then, fuck the police. Fuck them.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, it is really crazy how the Bible says death and life is in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Jessica Beauvais pretty much learned the hard way. She's a woman who had a podcast, had her whole life ahead of her, could have been doing podcasting right now, but instead she chose to express hate and made some statements over her podcast that landed her in this mess. See, a lot of times people that do podcasts, content creation, Y'all don't realize that these microphones can be dangerous. Because the things you say can be used in a courtroom that will help to put you away for a long time. Now, she had the opportunity to take the plea deal, which would have got her about, I believe, 15 to 16 years. But she didn't want it. So the court threw the book at her. Got 27 years. 27 years, fam. She ain't coming out till she like 50 something. All because of hate, drunk driving, smoking marijuana, and this was an NYPD officer with a family. Black woman. White officer. I mean, what really messed her case up, because it's bad either way. What messed up her case was the fact that she said on that podcast, F the police. That ain't gonna hold good in court. 2 hours after doing a podcast, you murder a cop? That's crazy. Why is Big Lou saying, but she killed a cop, my dude? What is your problem? Do we got to pack you up early? What's going on? Or are you talking to somebody else? Because I'm not really willing to play these little games early in the show. You talking to Lazy Money. Let's see what Lazy Money had to say. Even 15 years is too long? Nah, that's too little bit. What are you talking about? Nah. 15 years is a long time. Nah, that's too little. 15 years is too short. This is a family man. This is a guy that was just doing his job. This is a man that was just outside doing his job, minding his business. He ain't know he was going to die. He was planning on going home to his kids. You saying that that's too long? That's too little bit. 27 years is too little bit. She's supposed to be in prison for life. We're talking about a woman who did a podcast being arrogant, full of hate, and she used her platform to utter words of death and destruction. That's what she did. Don't get mad. See, I'm seeing a lot of people online saying stuff like, they did her dirty and that's too much time. It's too, I've seen people get lesser time than that. Yeah, you're right. There have been people that killed people in a hit and run situation. Yeah, you're right. And they got less time. But see, what a lot of people is missing is the fact that she had a podcast and she said, F the police. And then right after leaving the show, she's drunk and high and end up killing a cop. That's what did her in court. Caucasian cop family man, NYPD officer. And they got the receipt of her video talking grimy about cops. This is why you got to watch what you say on your podcast, because you never know. You might say something and it end up putting you in hot water. You know? She got on her podcast, wished death on officers, and said F them all. When the jury and everybody heard that, that was it. That was it. That's all they needed to hear. You black, you hate cops, and you were spreading hate on your podcast? Oh yeah. 27 years. And now everybody's upset. Talking about racism and that's not right. It's excessive. She don't deserve that. She's young. She's going to be, by the time she get out, she's in her mid to late 50s. That's not cool. No, she got what she deserved. She got justice, pure justice. Listen, I think the 27-year sentence is too low. That's too low. It's not enough. See, the reason why it's not enough is because the modern woman, right? She believed that she's above criticism, above the law. She could do and say whatever she wants. She was on that podcast expressing hate, talking about one thing, but expressing venom. And that venom turned into a reality. And I could just hear the haters coming. You just hate women. Isn't it amazing how a woman can murder a cop, take away a father from children, take away a husband from a wife, and rather than people hold the woman accountable and say, you know what? She have to pay the piper for this one. Instead, they get mad with me. They get mad with me. Jessica Beauvais got the book thrown at her because she was doing the devil's work. There was so much hatred in her heart, it became a reality. This is why the Bible says death and life is in the power of the tongue. That's why you got to be careful with what you say. You got to be careful with what you say because it's life. It has force that can come to pass. And she got that. So before you try defending her, think about what she took away from another family. Not only did she take away a father, a husband, a cousin, a relative from their family, but she took herself from her own family and she ended her life. So her life was cut short. She could have been a popular podcaster right now. But because of hate, it ended. That's why you got to be careful, fam. Just because you're a content creator, you're a podcaster, whatever the case is, you got a show, you really got to watch the things you say. Keep it professional, keep it clean, and whatever you do, if you're going to be doing a podcast, make sure you're in your own house where once you finish, you can go to bed. Because if you're doing a show and you're somewhere, wherever, and you've been drinking and smoking, that's a bad idea. See, if I'm having a drink right now, I'm in my crib, so I'm good. But now, if I had to go to somebody else's studio somewhere and we did a great show, it was a good night, and, you know, we had a bunch of drinks. You know, like how on Shannon Sharp, they be drinking? Let's say if I did a show I was invited on Shannon Sharp, and I'm doing my thing, and I'm drinking, whatnot. Great show. Everybody was entertained. Fun show. But then I got to drive back home or to the hotel or whatever the case is, wherever I'm at. And I end up, killing somebody on my way. How that's going to look? It's not going to look too good, fam. People just watch my show on YouTube. Great interview. And now I'm on the news. That's exactly what her situation is like, fam. Check it out. Check it out, fam. Harsh reckoning. Long Island drunk driver gets 27 years for fatal NYPD crash. Wow. She took this officer's life, fam. Man didn't deserve to go out like that. And see, that is what really messed up her case. And to add insult to injury, she didn't even take the plea deal. She pleaded innocent. How you gonna plead innocent? How you gonna plead innocent when you killed the man? Take the plea deal and just say, look, it is what it is. You wanted to go to trial. You wanted to go into courts. You thought you were gonna get off. 27 years. That's crazy, man. 27 years. That's a long time, bro. That's a long time behind bars, man. Her whole life is gone now. Because of this, man. Because of this. What she did right there, that's what did it.
You guys, lost my earring. I will see you guys next Monday at 6:30 p.m. back here on Face the Reality Radio.
Now, keep in mind, she could have just ended her podcast and just call it a night. Instead, she did the following.
The Instagram and on the Facebook. And until then, fuck the police. Fuck them.
2 hours before the incident, they played that in court. And when they pick people for these cases, a lot of times they got people that, the courts is really funny, fam. It's like when they get people to do jury duty and various other things, man, it's a very tricky game. Very, very tricky game. If you ever did jury duty, you would know what I mean. A lot of times, let's say it's a case where somebody, I guess, harmed children. And you're one of the jurors and they ask you a couple of questions like, do you have any relatives that may have endured something similar? And like, let's say you say, yeah, I have a cousin, that had X, Y, and Z and their kids was abused. Well, what about you? Did you have kids that was abused? Yes, one of my sons was abused. And were you ever abused? Yes. They'll remove you. They'll remove you from being a juror. Now, the reason why in some instances they do this is because you're gonna throw the book at the person automatically without even hearing the case. Because if you know anybody that been through anything like that, you'll see them as the same monster that did whatever to your relatives. So you're gonna want justice. But there's a flip side to that. In some cases, they find people that will deliver quick justice. What do I mean? Sometimes they'll find people who have lost a relative, a police officer, put them on the jury. Where you'll have families that they selected for your trial. And all those people that's up there have a relative that was lost. We're talking about relatives that work for law enforcement and they lost their life due to some nonsense. And they put them up there. And when they up there, they ready to crucify you. They do this, fam. The court system is never fair. Always understand that. The system is not fair. But in this case, she got the proper just due. I'm going to show you video from the widow who gave a excellent response in court. I believe that God Almighty pulled her card and brought down this sentence on this woman because she have a lot of hate in her heart, fam. Very arrogant. You can see it by the way she closed in her podcast, as if though she's untouchable. And she learned the hard way. So let's continue playing the tape. We're going to get to the court case. It's about a 13-minute video. We're going to look at that. And let's just get through these clips right here. You see the car? Wow. So, as you can see, she took the guy out, a husband, a father, a son, you know, and a protector. But most of all, you know, he was an NYPD highway police officer. And she ended his life. He didn't know he was going to die. Wow.
I'm sorry. What are you sorry for? I'm sorry that I said that he's dead. What happened? I did a podcast.
Beauvais had been hosting a podcast under the name Phoenix Michelle, which streamed live on Facebook for about 2 hours before the accident.
I'm sorry that I said that he's dead. I did a podcast.
You killed my husband, an innocent man, a good man, who did nothing to you. Our road ends here today. Your Honor, on behalf of our family and friends, and all of Gossip brothers and sisters in blue who place their lives on the line each and every day, protecting this city, we ask that Jessica Beauvais is given maximum sentence, both for killing my husband and maximum sentence for fleeing the scene and leaving him there to die.
She fled the scene, y'all. She fled and left him there to die. You see that courtroom? That courtroom is full of officers. They're not there to play. They're not there to play one bit. They there on business. They there to support their fallen comrade due to the negligence of this woman drinking and driving, thinking she untouchable, and then she left the scene. All of that plays a part in her sentence. See, let's say she hit him and she was drinking, she was under the influence, and she remained. She remained there. She's like, oh my goodness, I know I'm in trouble. And she called the cops herself or something like that. Hello? There was an accident. You know, I hit somebody. I don't know if they're, I'm at the scene. I'm not going nowhere. Please send police. Boom, boom, boom. Police show up. She's at the scene. Okay, cool. They check your check you out. Okay, you were drinking. Okay, they placed you in custody. Just go through the procedure. At least you know you were there. You didn't flee the scene. You followed all the procedures. You're already in trouble. You know what I mean? So let's just go through the process. But no. She already had a podcast that said F the police. And then she flees the scene and left the men to die. You think the courts is going to forgive that? No, if she would have took the plea deal would have gave her about 15, 16 years. But she didn't want that. Bad move. She already guilty. You fled the scene. You have a podcast of you saying F the police. Come on, you're not looking good. The jurors are going to get you. The police officers, they're pissed. All those officers that's up in there, they're not smiling, bro. At that moment, you know you done. There's no way to get out of this one. You should have took that plea deal and just do your time. And you know what I mean? You do your time. You would have got out. Everything would have been good. You could kind of rebuild your life. At least you're, still younger. You know what I mean? You learn your lesson, you can rebuild your life. But no. You went out there and you had this podcast. And see, this is why the podcasting thing is kind of dangerous sometimes, because you would have thought that, okay, she got her cell phone, right? You already had this accident. Now, this is just me thinking quick. You know what you said on your podcast. You just had a crazy accident, possibly killed an officer. And you leave the podcast online? And see, let's say she deleted it. Even if you delete it, fam, you know what goes on the web stays on the web. Somebody had to screen record. Somebody had to download it. But dag, 2 hours later? Now, me personally, fam, if I know I had a podcast 2 hours ago and I said F the police, fam, right after the accident, I'm on Facebook like this. Delete, 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 delete. That's getting deleted right away. Because I know they're going to use that. And that is what did her in, that podcast. Trust me. To hear those words are very chilling. And when officers in the court and everybody hear that, it's not going to be good for you, man. She should have deleted that, clean her entire profile, Instagram, whatever she got. That podcast need to be destroyed quick, because it was 2 hours after. So she had more than enough time to get that podcast down, but she left it up. And they went to digging, and people probably was talking about it on social media. It's like, hold up, she did a podcast saying F the police and wishing death? What? Hey, let's get that. We're going to play that in court. And when they played that in court, it was a wrap. What they say? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in the court of law. Okay, your podcast will be used against you. Your podcast will be used against you. This is why when you're a content creator and you say things over the air, you got to be very careful with what you say, because it may come to pass and may be used against you. Your own tape may end up being played in court. And you'll see yourself saying some things and the jury will hear it, and you might say, well, you know, I'm just doing my videos for entertainment purposes, and they don't want to hear that. Ain't no entertainment purposes. You said it. And they're going to use it against you. So he's gone now. She took him out. Now he can't see his kids. There she go, fam. She's learning the hard way now, fam. Life got real, bro. Life got real for her real quick. This ain't no joke. This is real business, man. Check out the court case. Let me see if we could do this. Hold on a second. I want to copy this. Okay. Let me take this off. Add this on.
Yes, we are.
But let me go here and add that over here. Hold on.
Yes, we are.
Ms. Beauvais is now produced and present before the court.
Case officer sentencing, both sides ready to proceed?
Yes.
Yes. Motion before we proceed with sentencing. Either side.
Judge, if we could
If
just,
you just speak up to the microphone, I appreciate it.
Judge, if we could just briefly address the motion that we discussed at sidebar.
Yes.
A few weeks ago, defense counsel served on the People several reports in regard to today's sentencing proceeding. In those papers, the defense discussed the evidence the defendant claims is mitigating and warrants a more lenient sentence. People were doing so to directly rebut those allegations and to show that the defense papers grossly mischaracterized the nature of the podcast, which in fact reflects that Ms. Beauvais has shown a disregard for... Thank you, Your Honor.
Quite welcome.
They ain't trying to hear all of that mess. They're not trying to hear all of that, man. This is what I'm saying. People going to interpret what you say. See, they trying to clean up her podcast, like, oh, you know, they misrepresented what she was saying, and you know, that's not what it is. She's a good citizen, she's a taxpayer, she's a this. Nobody ain't hearing all of that. You said what you said. Now, one thing you have to understand about the courts is the courts are set up in a very special way. Nothing is typically fair in these kind of courts. And I'm just being real. A lot of times the judge is kin with the prosecutor, kin with the attorney, kin with the law enforcement officers, kin with the bailiff, kin with the, and then they be all one big family. Now, you won't ever know this, but this is how the system be. And it's one of them things where it's like, once you're in the system, you're done. This is why you don't want to get caught up. That's why you don't want to be committing crimes, because once you get into that room, you're finished.
Ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
People.
This point, Your Honor, the people move indictment 504-2021 sentence.
What should be heard, sir?
Yes, the people did serve notice to the court.
Very loud. Thank you.
The people served notice to the court. And
This is the wife.
My husband's tragic and untimely death has been a huge loss to many.
Now listen carefully to her speech. Very powerful words.
He was very loved. His life mattered. He was a courageous NYPD highway patrol officer. He was also a son to now grieving parents, a brother, a favorite uncle, He was a great friend to many, and he was a proud father and husband. Tasso had a big heart. He loved being useful and went out of his way to make people's lives a little easier, a little better. He cared. You could count on him to do the right thing, even when no one was looking. He was kind and warm, with a great sense of humor, very witty. My husband's laughter and smile is something I miss very much. And his honesty and sincerity was like a breath of fresh air. He was a genuine person. Tasso was also an eternal optimist who believed in the goodness of people. I received letters from individuals he had arrested telling me what a great human being he was and how he made a positive impact in their lives. My husband made the world a better place, and he had so much more to give. He is irreplaceable and unforgettable. We had a great life. We were happy. Tasso and I made a strong team. Together we created a beautiful family, and after years of saving, we were finally able to purchase our first home, just 6 months prior to his death. We were living our dreams, busy fixing our home and making plans for the future. But everything came to a screeching halt on April 27th, 2021. At approximately 4 a.m. that morning, 2 NYPD officers rang my doorbell and gave me the devastating news that my husband had been hit by a car while on duty, and I was urgently needed at the hospital.
Now think about how bad that is, fam. That this woman had the police show up, probably got a call, police show up at the door and said, we have bad news. Your husband is dead. Think about what that would do. Think about how a wife feels, knowing that her husband left the house to go to work, and she gave him his coffee and said, have a good day. And then she get a visit saying he's gone. Just got their property, just got their house, building their life, getting everything fixed up, making plans for the future. And as she says this in the court, this is personal business. You see all the officers in the back? Look at all their faces. They all got the same faces, guys. This is not a game. This is personal. They all feel her pain. Man, I could just feel the tension in that room.
In a panic, I asked if my husband was alive, but they couldn't tell me. I instantly doubled over in pain. On our way to the hospital, I prayed to God to please let him be alive. I needed him. I couldn't picture my life without him. At the hospital, I was told that despite their best efforts, the doctors were unable to save him.
Despite their best efforts. Now, you know, this is a NYPD officer. Anytime an NYPD officer get shot, a vehicle accident, or whatever the case is, and they take them to the hospital, they have on call the best surgeons that come in. We're talking about the best of the best. You know, like how some of us, we go to the hospital for things, and because of your insurance, you don't get this, and because of your insurance, you don't get the top service. When it comes to an NYPD officer, they bring in the top surgeons, the big boys. They tried everything. Couldn't save him.
I was told my husband was dead. My world came crashing down. They were still speaking to me, but I heard nothing after that. I couldn't speak. I was in shock. The pain I felt made my body weak. My mind had a hard time processing that my strong, beautiful husband was no longer with us. I was in shock until the thought of our children came to my mind and realized I now had to go home and tell my babies that their dad,
Was she holding a rosary? Looked like she was holding a rosary in her hand, which kind of says she must be Catholic.
My mind had a hard time processing that my strong, beautiful husband was no longer with us. I
Yep.
was in shock until the thought.
And you can see it in her hand. Now, her attorney already know that she's finished. You can see the attorney already knows that there's no way you're going home. There's no way this is happening.
Of our children came to my mind and realized I now had to go home and tell my babies that their dad, that broke me. I begged and pleaded with God to stop the nightmare, to stop time. In that moment, I wish I never existed at all and to hurt my children. But I had no choice. It was part of my sentence. That was the hardest thing I ever had to do in my life, and I don't wish it on anyone. Telling my children and witnessing their devastation, unable to console them, is something that's been burned in my soul. I will carry it with me forever. Their hearts were broken, and I couldn't take their pain away. I could not protect them from this. While Jessica Beauvais was sobering up in a police station that morning, our world was collapsing. The tragedy of my husband's death was hard enough, but to know that it was all completely preventable is too much. Because of a single person's despicable actions, our family was sentenced to a lifetime of loss. Jessica Beauvais each time broke my heart. Our son wanted me to get him a big kite so that he could fly it high in the sky and his daddy could grab onto it and bring it back. He cried daily because Daddy would never hold him in his arms again. He was only 3 years old. Our daughter was a daddy's girl. He was her love. Their bond was so precious, and it breaks my heart that he was ripped away from her so suddenly. Her pain was deep. At night, she would pray and promise God to be very good if only he returned her daddy back. He was a great father, and they miss him every single day.
You know, when you hear that section and you think about the fact that the kids are asking Mom, is Daddy coming home? When is Daddy coming home, Mom? And the mom have to, because you know kids are young, so sometimes they don't understand the severity of the problem like we do. They're really expecting that Daddy's coming home. So imagine the stress that Mom have to deal with of knowing what really happened, and then having to explain to the children that daddy's not coming home. Think about that.
I know about grief. I was 19 when my dad passed away, and it was hard not having him around. I wish he had met my husband and kids. I am so sad my children would have an even longer legacy of loss, and in many ways I cannot begin to fathom what they have lost. Their dad has already missed our son's first day of school, birthdays, father-daughter dances, school performances, and graduations. Each time he misses another special occasion and makes everything blindingly real. Our beautiful life is now just a memory. We are no longer whole. It was very hard for me to come to terms with it. He was ripped away from us so violently. Images of the event haunted me. They still do. I struggled to get out of bed, and I stopped eating. I struggled to engage in normal activities with a broken heart. There was so much hurt. My husband and I loved each other very much. We were best friends. We made a dynamic team. Together, we made decisions and plans for our future. Without Dasso, I am acutely aware that I am half of what was once. I will carry my husband with me forever. Lastly, I want to address Jessica Beauvais' podcast. She made a podcast hours before killing my husband for the world to hear. I heard it too. I want to say that you cannot think, speak, and spread hate out into the world and expect good things to happen to you. You cannot wish harm on people and influence others to do harm and expect good things in return. You killed my husband, an innocent man, a good man, who did nothing to you. That's on your conscience. Your choice and your behavior landed you here today. You have no one but yourself to blame. You truly earned every day you spent in prison.
Hearing that section of her words was very moving, and it's almost as if though God Almighty was speaking to her right from the wife. It's almost as if though the Most High was telling her in the court that you brought this upon yourself. You did this to yourself. Nobody else did this to you. So you have no one to blame. You have no one to blame but yourself regarding this mess. And yet people are out here pretty much defending her. I've seen people defending this woman. Literally defending her. Saying they gave her an excessive sentence. It doesn't even make any sense. That's too much time. No, it's perfect. Actually, it's too little. It's actually too little. You know? And then you have the people pulling the race card. Oh, it's because she's black. No. You gotta look at this thing for what it really is. You make a podcast hating police. This is why you got to be very careful as a podcaster. Even if you have issues with law enforcement due to whatever situation, you got to know how to conduct yourself when you speak about things, because if you say things the wrong way and something happened, it's going to play in court. Right? And then on top of that, she killed the guy and then she kept going. She left. It was a hit and run. And I've seen a lot of hit and runs in NYC. I don't know what it is, but in NYC, a lot of people, they do this. They hit people and they keep going. They slow down for a little bit, and when they realize they did some real damage, they out. Now, if you caught the license plate, we'll be able to get them. But in most cases, in New York, you know, there'd be a lot of hit and runs. A lot. And sometimes people get away. I don't know how, but it happens. With all the technology, all these cameras, a lot of times people get away with hit and runs, and they be killing people, and they killed a lot of kids this way. You know? And it's really, really sad that these type of things happen. I mean, even out here in Brooklyn, had a situation where you had a young boy who was pretty much hit, ran over, and then the woman that was in the truck, I believe it was a tow truck, she kept going, and then some workers had to flag her down. It's like, yo, stop. You just ran over a child, and the child brains was all over the floor, on the pavement. And this happened when the child was on his way to school. He was on one of them little scooters, them little push scooters. And it was one of them, I think it was one of them NYPD pickup trucks that pick up cars and whatnot. So these kind of things happen a lot, where people have accidents and then they stay. But now if the workers did not stop that particular woman that was driving that truck, she would have kept going. Because the way it happened was the kid was in a blind spot and she just ran him over. Just ran him right over and kept going. Didn't even know. If the people didn't flag her down, she would have just went back continuing working like it was nothing. And then it would have been on the news because the store had a camera on it that caught the whole thing. She hit the man and kept going. That is why she's in some major hot water right now. If she would have stayed, I believe her sentence would have been less. I believe her sentence would have been less. It would have probably been less than 16 years. She would have probably got about 8 or 9 years, I believe. Because if she would have, but you know, the thing is, she was drinking. That's the thing that's going to make it not. If it was one of them things where she wasn't under the influence of alcohol and marijuana, and it was an actual accident, meaning something happened, somebody flew in the street with a bike and whatnot, and she swerved and boom. Under those circumstances, if they look at context and she didn't have no drugs, no alcohol, she would have got a lesser sentence. But once you factor in fleeing the scene, alcohol, influence of marijuana, podcasts, you're done. You're finished at that point. There's no hope for you, fam. I'm actually believing that them giving her 27 years was them trying to be nice. They probably wanted to give her more.
I hope you take that time to reflect on your actions and feel remorse for all the devastation you have caused to my family and to yours as well. Our road ends here today. Your Honor, on behalf of our family and friends, and all of Tasha's brothers and sisters in blue who place their lives on the line each and every day protecting this city, we ask that Jessica Beauvais is given maximum sentence both for killing my husband and maximum sentence for fleeing the scene and leaving him there to die. Thank you, Your Honor.
Somebody asks, how old is she? She's 34 years old. She's 34 years old. Yeah. She's from Hempstead, Long Island, was sentenced to 27 years in prison for the drunk driving crash that resulted in the death of an NYPD detective. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. I cannot pronounce that name. I don't even know. And this happened in 2021. Tragic incident on the Long Island Expressway when Jessica was driving under the influence of alcohol and marijuana. Struck detective, is that Tascos? I'm not pretty sure if I'm pronouncing it properly, as he was directing traffic. Now that is even bad. Now, she struck this man while he was directing traffic, fam. That man instantly died. The man is directing traffic. And while, think about this, fam. You do this every day. This is your job. You're directing traffic. You're not expecting cars to run into you. That's what she did. Do I feel sorry for her? Of course not. See, the reason why you cannot feel sorry for someone like this is because they're evil. We're talking about someone who fled the scene, expressed hate on their podcast by saying F the police. It's one thing if you don't like cops and you keep it to yourself, or say you're not too fond of cops due to your run-ins with police officers. You're not too fond of them. You know, it's sort of like we can understand you if you say it in that manner. Like, I'm not too fond of cops because I had a lot of bad experiences, seen a lot of things happen, so I'm not too fond of them, even though there may be officers out there that are good cops. They might do their job well. They're not on no BS. But she got on the podcast and said basically F police, meaning all. And she expressed it with hate. So when you look at all of those officers that are in there, they take that personal too. The judge take that personal. Everybody in there is pissed. And they would like for her to have more time. Like I said, if she was not under the influence of alcohol, no marijuana in the system, and there was an accident, and she stayed and she called the police, they would have came there, do the proper procedures, and I believe her sentence would have been low. She would have probably did about 7 to 9 years. I say even 7, 8, somewhere around there. She would have had that amount of time, because they would have looked at the fact that, okay, she got in the accident. There was no drugs, no alcohol. She stayed at the scene. She didn't flee. So they're going to look at that and say, well, she stayed. She didn't try to flee. She called the police. She did this and that. Yeah, it was an accident. You know? Or it could have went a whole nother way. Because if they would have had tape and recording, it could have went a different way where maybe she would have probably never got charged, depending on the context of whatever happened, because it could have been a situation where someone else caused her to end up hitting the guy, meaning there was some other car doing something crazy and it made her, you get what I mean? So it could have turned out in different ways, man. I don't think that they just said, let's give her 27 years because she's a black woman. No. She fled the scene, so she's a murderer. Anytime you flee the scene, it's gonna add more time. And you're not gonna get, like, nobody's gonna feel sorry for you, man, because it's like you left the man for dead. You left him to die. And that's why they're gonna always remember you as a murderer. Nobody in there care about her, fam. They like, you took away a friend, you took away one of their comrades, you took away this woman's husband, a father. You destroyed a lot of relationships. That's how they see it. It's not a white or black thing. It's about people making decisions that ruin their own lives. If I know, like I said, and I've been in situations where, you know, I'm hanging out with some friends and we kind of chilling somewhere and I probably had a little too much to drink. And I know now is not the time to drive. Now is not the time to, no, let me just, hey, I'm gonna crash right here, guys. Y'all don't mind if I just crash right here and just kind of sleep it off a little bit? Yeah, cool. All right. See, I'm making a good decision. But she jumped in the car. And then again, if she had other people that were with her, why would they let her go knowing she drunk, knowing that she high, and you're going to let her go drive? Remember those commercials back in the day? Friends don't let friends drive drunk. They don't even play those things no more. You remember those commercials? Friends don't let friends drive drunk. Them commercials don't come on no more. I wonder why.
About that, we forget that police officers are fathers, their husbands, their mothers, their wives. Juana, as he left his family that evening to serve this city and to serve this county, while she was making those choices, he left his family to do his job, which is a dangerous enough job to patrol.
The sentence of this court is that he be incarcerated for a determined period of 20 years, followed by 5 years of post-release supervision. With respect to vehicle manslaughter in the second degree, the sentence of this court is that he be incarcerated for a minimum of 2 1/3 to a maximum of 7 years, to run concurrent with the first count. With respect to VTL 600, the sentence of this court is that he be incarcerated for 2 1/3 to 7. That's to run consecutively to the other 2 counts. There is a $5,000 fine with respect to that as well. Please advise the defendant for a right to appeal.
Somebody who has a right to appeal to the appellate divisions have to depart within 30 days, and if you have financial inability to retain counsel, you can have the right to try to the appellate division. All instructions are on the form being served to you. And the mandatory surcharge is $300 for mandatory surcharge, $25 fine for committing the CCC, and $50 in addition to the $5,000 fine.
Members of the press, we can step outside.
And that's the wrap, fam. That's how it is. That's how fast people's lives are finished. That's how fast it happened. You know, people make decisions and they don't think about the consequences. They don't think about it. The choices that you make can cost you everything. This is why, even on your day-to-day life, sometimes things can happen and you make certain choices. You got to really be careful. You know, we're reviewing this particular video here, this particular case. You see what happened to Jessica. Her life is done. Like, it's finished. Even when she finally get out, she's still finished. There's going to be something that's going to carry with her. But what can we learn from this? Well, it's a couple of things that you can learn. Number one, don't drink and drive. You know, that's number one. If you know you're at a family gathering, party, bar, happy hour, whatever the case is, and you know you had a little too much to drink, you know, you can have a friend drive you, or, you know, ask someone to call you a cab, and that way you don't put yourself or anybody else at risk, because there's a lot of people that be driving drunk, fam. There's a lot of people, man, that be drinking and they driving because they figure they can handle the alcohol. And a lot of times, some of you folks, you get into cars with people that you know was just drinking. Like, that's crazy. You should never do that. If you know somebody was just drinking, you don't get into the car with them. That's a quick way to die. So I don't feel sorry for her for being sentenced to 27 years. I think that she have a lot of time to reflect on her choices. Maybe now she can be accountable, not only for what she caused, but so that she could change her life, get her life right. That's enough time for her to write a book about what her journey was like, you know, in the prison system due to her actions. Maybe she can help the youth. Maybe she can do something to get herself in order. But what we can learn from this is think before you act. You could be on a 9-to-5 and somebody can say the wrong thing at the wrong time. You know, a lot of times you have people, they're going through a lot of things. This is why when you're on a 9-to-5, you gotta respect everybody that's working at the 9-to-5, and always understand that everybody have their own issues. Always remember that when you're talking to your coworkers, anybody, even customers, you got to be very careful with, you know, communicating with staff and whatnot, because they may be going through something and you might say something or whatever the case, or do something, and then it escalate because y'all don't know how to diffuse situations, like, and you may end up wanting to fight. And you got to think about it. If you go ahead and fight, you're going to lose your job. You may end up getting arrested. You may end up hurting somebody bad. May end up killing somebody. I've seen that happen on you know, in the workplace environment. I've seen people, coworkers, bring guns to work and shoot other people at the job. I've seen staff bring guns and shoot a supervisor in front of everybody in New York. And then they got arrested and their entire life is over. I've seen this happen. So you got to be very careful with, you know, how you react and how you receive things in the workplace and even in the streets. Sometimes you got to just know how to just kind of step out of the situation. You know, you could be in the store and somebody cross you or skip the line and you're like you don't see me standing here. You're saying, you got to say to yourself, you just got to laugh sometimes and be like, look, I can see that this person is doing this to try to provoke me to go crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pause and kind of just fall back a little bit because I know how I am. Like, I'm calm, cool, and collected. I'm talking about me personally. I'm calm, cool, and collected. But when I get pissed off, it's over. I know that already. So I'm more concerned with what I would do to somebody than what they're going to do to me. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Like, I know myself. I know that I don't play around with nobody. So if somebody was to do something to me, I know what I'm capable of doing. So to avoid prison time, to avoid doing something to this person that's going to cost me my freedom, I have, I guess, cultivated a way of stepping out of situations before it get heated. If that makes any sense. Like, somebody will do something and I already know what I would do to them. Like, I'm looking at them and I'm saying to myself, I'm gonna spare you. You might think you getting this upper hand. You might think that you won. But I actually won. Because I know what I would do. And I know that if I do what I would like, I'm gonna be the one serving time in prison. I know that. I'm gonna be the one that's gonna be put away. So you got to think about your actions before you get caught up in the system. Yeah, you got to humble yourself. You got to humble yourself. That's the words I'm looking for. It's like you got to just humble yourself. Don't get into your pride. Don't try to prove nothing to nobody. You know what I mean? Because I'm not one of them kind of people that talk about what I'm going to do to somebody. You don't ever do that type of stuff. You know what I mean? The only time I feel as a man you need to step to the plate is when your family is in danger or your life is in danger. But when somebody do things, you got to know how to not go there. Especially if you're a brother and you got to, you know, not necessarily anger issues, but you're just not the type of guy to play with. You're not the kind of dude to mess with. You're really a serious dude. You don't got no time for that type of BS. And you don't tolerate disrespect. And when people do things and they cross that line, sometimes you got to look at them like, and you just got to let it go. Because if not, you're going to be behind bars. And sometimes I be feeling like certain circumstances, I guess, make itself available to try me sometimes in hopes to put me behind bars. And I'm sure it happened to a lot of you guys and probably even you ladies in different situations. Like, situations will pop up to test you. I'm talking about it test every one of your nerves. And you're like, sometimes you surprise yourself with the fact that you didn't do nothing. Because under normal circumstances, you would have did something. So, hey, don't get into no road rage with people. Because while you swerving on the road, doing all that stupid stuff, a little kid might be coming with a bicycle. You see what I mean? While you trying to overtake that car because you got something to prove, you might do that and a little kid ride into the street. Boom. You killed the child, bro. You're done. You're finished. There's no way around it. Road rage led to you running over a child. What are you going to do now? What are you going to say? What are you going to say to the parents in the court? You're done. Your life is over. So when you're in the streets, just be cool, calm, collected. Understand that certain things happen. A car cut you off on the road. Stop trying to get them back. Stop the road rage. Many people crash up and die. Accidents happen. Other people get injured and hurt because of the stupidity of people that make poor decisions. You know? Think about what the consequences could be if you do this or if you do that. Think about it. You could be a good stand-up citizen and find yourself behind bars because of something dumb you did. And everybody will be like, "Dag, man, I can't believe so-and-so is in prison. I can't believe it, fam." You know? Like, for example, and this one actually hit a little closer to home. I'm pretty sure a lot of you that probably watch the news, the agency that I once worked for, I heard some news that was very telling. Come to find out, you had a situation with NYCHA where a lot of superintendents, assistant supers, I believe administrators that got arrested recently. You could look at the news and you could find this out on bribery charges, and where these particular individuals were taking money under the table and having a lot of illegal things going on with contractors and various other things within the agency. And a couple of these people I know. A lot of them I know. And I'm still in disbelief because it's like some cool people, bro. I'm like, I can't believe this, bro. Some people will do anything to make $1. So you never know what's going on, fam. You never know. I'm talking about people I know. People I know from the agency. Superintendents and supervisors that I worked with, worked for, you know what I'm saying? And to hear this kind of news, I'm like, dag, bro. You really never know, man. You really never know, man. A lot of these guys, man, were in handcuffs. The feds came. It's all on the news. The feds came to, and what's crazy about this is the feds and everybody came for these people, even if they retired. So even if they retired and was just kind of just chilling, living their life, the feds bust down their door, put them in handcuffs, and brought them in. And they're going to all be doing time because they're guilty. So you never know, man. You never know what's going on, fam. In the workplace, you never know who's who. You never know what's going down, man. You never know, fam. Imagine people you know getting charged with these particular crimes of bribery, and they made, I forgot how many millions with different contracts and different things. In other words, they would have these under-table contracts where they were getting money on the back end, but the work within developments were not being done. So the residents were suffering. And it's just one big mess. It's a big mess. One big mess. That's what I mean by your decisions can land you behind bars. Even if you retired and you think you living your best life, they got receipts because there's a paper trail. And once one person get caught, other people got caught. And then another news story came up. And again, those of you that are in New York that follow the news, something else popped up where the FDNY got hit with the same thing. Where you had people from the FDNY that got hit with bribery and other particular charges due to, I'm not sure exactly if it was inspections or something dealing with safety and inspections, and I forgot exactly what it was. But people are saying that there's a possibility that what happened with NYCHA and what happened with the FDNY is connected somehow. Because the money trail, all you got to do is just follow the money. Follow the money, and it'll show you who's who. And once one person get caught, they're going to start ratting everybody out. The corruption goes deep, fam. This is why when you're on a 9-to-5 grind, you just got to do your job, go home. Do your job, go home. Don't get into the politics. Don't try to cut no corners. Because the amount of people that I know that got arrested, I would have never thought they were, I would have never thought that they were involved in stuff like that. And that's why I say you really don't know people. You don't know people, man. You know, they were cutting so many corners. People were approving things that was unsafe. And I'm big on safety because when I worked for the agency, I had all of the tests. I took all of the exams dealing with deceptive practices, people that cover up things, trying to hide things, doing poor jobs. I have training in those particular areas. And when you have that particular training, you're supposed to call out individuals that do this kind of BS. Even if it's your supervisor, even whoever, if it's another worker, it's not necessarily snitching. It's that when you have a job, you got to do it the correct way. And if those of you that know, I used to work in the heating department where we dealt with low pressure boilers, 15 PSI max, and we dealt with $1 million worth of equipment. And we had to make sure everything was running properly, make sure all the maintenance and everything is done to heat buildings, provide hot water, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of safety things that have to come involved. You know what I mean? A lot of things that you have to take care of and that we're all trained for, but there was a lot of shortcuts being done and a lot of people's lives at risk. You know what I mean? There've been situations where you had boiler plants that blew up because workers are not properly maintaining the equipment. And you have puffbacks that happen. Those of you that know that, you know what a puffback is. But we had plants that literally blew up. And when you have a low pressure boiler blow up, it is not a game. If you're in that plant when that happened, you will die. Right? So think about a pressure pot. Grandma's old pressure pot. Remember those pressure pots grandma and them used to have? And you have the little thing at the top. Grandma would kind of loose it a little bit to let out the steam pressure. Well, a pressure pot is similar to a boiler. You know, there's pressure inside, a lot. Well, a boiler is the same way. There's a lot of pressure inside. You have pressure troughs on the boiler. You have different safeties on the boiler to prevent it from blowing up, right? So now think about the damage that can happen in a house where someone is using a pressure cooker, and rather than relieving the pressure before opening the pot, they just open the pot. Boom! Think about the damage it would cause that person standing in front of that pot. Now think about a boiler. You're dead. Anybody that's around you is dead. You can kill residents that's in the building. Situations like that happen already. Because of workers that weren't trained, the entire area blew up. The residents upstairs were gone. And the workers got arrested because of negligence. Because when they go in, they check the log books, they check all the equipment, they find that staff was not properly maintaining the equipment. So the moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen, is do your job. Follow safety procedures, whether you're a truck driver, Uber driver, whatever field of expertise you're in, do your job with excellence. Make sure that everything is done safe so that clients, pedestrians don't get hurt, and you don't put yourself in prison because of doing something dumb. You know, very, very important, you know? So that being said, we're going to get up on out of here. Appreciate everybody stopping by. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the stream. Do you think that Jessica deserved to go free? Do she deserve to stay in prison? What exactly are your thoughts about the case? Do you think it's fair? Do you think they did her dirty? What exactly do you feel about this particular case? Because I think that she dug herself into this pit and deserves more time, because she killed him in cold blood and left the scene, and she hate cops. No matter how you put it, they're going to look at it as she's a cop hater, and that's how they're going to perceive you. This is why you got to watch what you say. Let me see. Okay. Shout out these cash apps. Shout out to JCV. I'm just going to say that. Shout out to you for your support. Vern. Shout out to Vern for your support. Sabrina, shout out to you too for your support. I don't know about you guys, but in New York, there are a lot of thieves. I don't know if the same thing is happening where you live, but there's a lot of thieves in New York. A lot. New York is like it's just a bad place. That's why I'm in preparation of getting out. And it's very stressful. I ain't gonna hold you. When you're in the process of relocating, that's a very stressful thing, because there are so many different things that you got to do, especially when you're hunting and looking, and it's really, really stressful. But I noticed that in New York, there's a major problem with people stealing packages. A major problem. These porch pirates. It's like all over, all day. It's bad. You can't even get deliveries, fam. People just be stealing your packages. It's crazy. I don't know what's going on, man. But I don't know if this happens where you at, but they have these porch pirates that be stealing your packages every single time. And you can have your doorbell camera. They don't care. They steal anyway. They just help themselves. You have this new thing going on. You might hear about it in the news soon. Hopefully somebody do a story. But there is a new trend. Maybe I'm the first one to talk about it. There's a new trend going on, possibly in New York, because it's happening every single day, where let's say you have the FedEx truck, the UPS truck, or the Amazon delivery people. You got pirates. Now listen to me carefully, because nobody's talking about this. I figured it out. So in case you hear anybody talking about it, you know they got it from me. The pirates are following these trucks in vehicles, right? Meaning when the FedEx truck, the UPS truck, the Amazon delivery people go out, you got these pirates, these thieves, whether they be in a car, a van, and what they do is they follow the delivery trucks to residential areas where they could kind of leave the package on the porch or near the steps, and these pirates, they wait for them to make the delivery, and then they proceed to go pick up the delivery. Meaning, delivery man puts down the box, the pirates will wait. Somebody will jump out the car, jump out the vehicle, jump out the van, whatever, grab the box, throw it in the back, on to the next. That's happening in New York right now. And the mayor, governor, they're worried about migrants right now. What I just explained to you is how they're doing it. They're literally following the delivery man around. When the delivery man dropped the box, somebody come and pick up the box and take it. And it's costing people possibly millions of dollars of stolen items. Like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? Absolutely crazy. And these people are on camera doing this. Because, you know, when you have a Ring camera, you pick up not only activity around your place, but also you get notifications of just the entire area of crime activity, of other people robbing and stealing. And it's so excessive. It's like who would want to live in an environment where people are constantly stealing all day long? Like, I like, for me, it's like, these are not human beings. These are animals. You know, I could see somebody's package by their door. I don't trouble that. It's not mine. I wasn't raised to steal somebody's package and take it and put it in my house. It don't make no sense. I don't like thieves. I don't like them. I cannot stand a person that have to rob something and don't want to work for it. I get highly offended when I see people stealing. I don't like it. Even if you're hungry, I think the best thing to do is ask. You know what I mean? Ask. But if you have to rob it, I'm like, stealing packages. You got people that got medicine that get delivered to them, and people would steal your medicine. Imagine you're an elderly person, or you got an elderly relative and somebody steal their medicine. They dependent on this now. They just ran out and somebody stole it. That's crazy. And because a lot of people work, they're not home. So when you got these people that be stealing, they just see it on their camera. They see the people coming up and they rob their goods. So it's like now, and again, I don't know if this is just New York. I don't know. Maybe this don't happen where you're at. Maybe you live in a community where it's an actual community where you don't got animals like this. And normally this happen in places where to me, it happened normally in places where you can't really bear arms. Because if you're really in a state where everybody got guns, I doubt that somebody's going to come to your porch and pick up your package. I don't think that they're going to do that. I just don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do that. I don't know. Maybe they do that. But in New York, there's no real fear. But I believe that if everybody bear arms and somebody come and they do all this type of stuff, fam, and they know we live in the Wild West, you know, not saying that you walk outside and shoot them now, because there are laws that govern stand your ground and all this other stuff. But I believe that if every state was the same when it comes to bearing arms and so on and so forth, I don't think people would be doing a lot of things. You know? And I did a little more research about North Carolina. It says that people in North Carolina love their guns. That's the good part. They love their guns. So I don't think that people probably do that over there. Depends. Maybe, you know, every state got bad neighborhoods. So, and there are some bad areas in North Carolina. I ain't gonna name them because maybe somebody might live out there and they get offended, but I did my research. There are some bad neighborhoods to avoid. Like certain areas. I think it's about four different places based on my research where it says don't move over there. You know, got crime all over there. You know? Yeah, so and you know what's so crazy, fam? And this is why the moving process takes so long, because when you start doing your research and stuff like that, you start hearing horror stories of other people and you're just like, man, I don't want to hear no horror stories, fam. Because like I have my whole plan of what I'm trying to do, and it's like, it's crazy, man. And it just makes you not trust nobody, fam. Like the amount of horror stories I'm hearing of people, like, wow. Now, I don't know if any of you use this particular thing. Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know if any of you use this, but maybe I can run it by you. Maybe you might know of it. Let me see. Let me see. It's this website. It's this website called Invitation Homes. Any of you familiar with that? Because I was kind of looking through that for places, and I heard a lot of horror stories, so I don't know. Now, the horror stories that I heard from people was, you know, they had issues where they rented a home and they were hit with all these different weird fees and all this other mess and whatnot. I don't know. Because that particular company owns everything, fam. Based on my research, it's like they buying up all the houses. I did some research. Them people bought up all the houses, bro. And they're trying to rent them all out. Because with me, my plan is to rent a house in another state, and then while there, proceed to get in your own house to buy. That's pretty much what I'm focused on. But I'm trying to figure out if this particular company is really scamming people. Because like you always hear horror stories with different companies. So I don't know if anybody used them before to rent out houses or whatnot. I don't know. Arizona's hot, too hot. That's it's just too hot. You know what I mean? Like I want like a balance, more sunny but balance. And North Carolina is pretty much like a balance of weather. So, but it's really that one place. I'm trying to see if other people use that particular place called invitationhomes.com. Because they got some nice rental properties, some nice places, man. And it's like, it looks like they bought up all the nice homes. Nice spots. They got some good places in nice areas too. I'm saying, what about Florida? I'm still kind of thinking about Florida, but the thing is, the reason why I'm looking at North Carolina is because Brother New Breed, if you follow his platform, you know, a lot of the brethren is focusing on getting land and actually building a community. Similar to what Pastor Dow is doing. Those of you who don't know, Pastor Dow is a pastor, one of a few pastors left in America who have a beautiful community that they built. We're talking about a man that built an entire community by teaching the word of the Most High, following the laws, statutes, and commandments. And these guys literally built an entire community of homes, debt-free. Then nobody got a mortgage. Beautiful community. The greatest feeling in the world is when you own the house. That's freedom. If there's anything that you can have in this world, is a home that you own. That's the greatest freedom. There's nothing else. So Pastor Dow has the blueprint of success. Nobody could tell me that man is not blessed and that man is not successful. The man is blessed. You know what I mean? Extremely blessed. The Most High is with that man. And the first thing that I noticed about him, besides him being a pastor, is the fact that the man is into construction and building houses. And that's how I found his channel, is because I was doing a project and I needed to know something about, I'm not sure if it was framing the wall or how to do a staggered stud wall design where you like to limit sound transmission from one room to the other, something along those lines. And in the process of looking for, I believe it was the staggered stud wall framing construction, I think I came across one of his videos and I was just kind of watching what he was doing. I don't think it was the work that I was looking for, but it was something else. And it kind of interests me. And I just kind of kept watching and watching. I didn't even know he was a pastor and whatnot. I didn't even know. I was like, this construction guy is doing work. And I used to just watch his videos, them building houses, got the brethren on the land, they building, boots on the ground, hands getting dirty. That's my type of work. I love doing that type of stuff. So then I seen him preaching one day. I was like, hold up, this is the same pastor? This is the same dude? The same guy? He's a pastor, he's a preacher. I see him opening Bibles, reading. I'm like, okay. Then he starts saying he's an Israelite. I was like, hold up, wait a minute now. I'm a biblical Israelite too. He's saying he's an Israelite. Then I start seeing people on YouTube hating on him, calling him a false prophet, a false teacher. And I started listening to him some more. Like, this guy ain't no false teacher. This guy's reading right from the Bible. And that's when I realized that he's really true. So with the blueprint of what they're doing with community building, you got New Breed and the brethren that are trying to focus on land and property, of building our own community. You know what I mean? This is what we're supposed to be doing as men. So being in North Carolina, it puts me very close because that's where they're going to be around. I forgot exactly the area where it's at. I'm not sure if it's in Charlotte or I'm not sure, but it's somewhere around those areas, I believe. So if I'm in the area, then now when the brothers really get serious with work, we can all get down to the land, see what's going on, put our minds together and start figuring out, okay, how are we going to do this? What do we need to do? And we start working. Start building these houses, man. You know? Because again, the goal is just to go rent a house and then look into purchasing a house. But why go purchase a house when you can build a house? You see what I mean? But it's not that simple. It's not that easy to just say, okay, you just go down there and get some land and put it together. There's a lot of things that got to go into play. You know what I mean? You have to have electrical. You have to have this. There's a lot of things that go into play, but it's a step towards the direction. You know what I mean? And the more brothers that we have on board that have their expertise and have that mindset to build community, the better for everybody. Because like I said, if you look at Pastor Dow's videos, he have a team of skilled trade workers, skilled men that have different expertise. And these guys, they do their thing, man. I love watching those videos because it's inspiration. It's inspiration because he's been telling people to prepare for many, many years. He's been telling guys, start focusing on building communities, start focusing on building them houses. We out here paying mortgages and renting and doing all this other stuff. There got to come a time when we stop that mess and start to own our own. You know? So if people see the brothers coming together to actually build, it'll motivate other brothers to jump on board. And before you know it, we have an army of men that have the same mind of building houses. And before you know it, we have a team of 50 guys that literally go down to North Carolina to build. We throw up houses like every other, like, I'm not sure exact. I seen Pastor Dow and the brethren put houses up so fast, you would be shocked at how fast these guys build these houses, man. They lay the foundation down, they start framing the wall, start doing the roof. We can literally, as men, come together and start building houses. This week, we're gonna build your house. Next week, your house. And we build them the way you want them. With the rooms you want, how tall you want, how many floors you want, we build them joints. Because it don't take a lot of money to buy the materials to build a house. You do know that, right? You know, like how when people are out here and they spend $350,000, $500,000 on a house. That's too much money. That's too much money, fam. It don't cost that much to build that same house. When you go spend $400K for a house, you just threw your money away. Because you could have just bought some land, get the contractors, have your plans of exactly what you want, how you want your rooms, how high you want the ceilings, get the people that make sure all the safety is right, everything is good. You got to have the right kind of people with you. And you can literally build your whole house based on the materials needed for the job, depending on what kind of house and the size and how many rooms, just raw materials. About 60 to 100K. Sometimes a little less, probably 50K. 50K to 100K, all materials. You got a house. That's right. It don't cost that much money, fam. It don't. But they don't tell us these things. And again, it all depends on the type of house and the type of materials, and the price will go up. If you got about 150K, you can build a master house. I'm talking about a masterpiece. You know, the better material will cost you a little more. But when you're building from scratch, from the ground up, that's the best way to go. You know? But it's going to take all the brothers coming together in order for the people to believe in what we're doing. So that's why I'm trying to get as close to where the location is, so that soon you might see me and New Breed in videos. You might see me and the other guys in videos on the land doing whatever we got to do. And when we do that, that's going to motivate the people to say, okay, these guys are not just talking, these guys are about that life. It's going to make the women see like, yo, these brothers are literally on the land. They serious about what they saying.
Sorry.
You know?
I'm having trouble with the connection. Please try again in a moment.
You hear Siri? She literally just interrupted me. What did I just say to get her in there to talk? I just said something and it triggered Siri. I don't even know what I just said. But this happened to me so many times when I'm streaming. Siri just starts to talk out of nowhere. This AI technology stuff is crazy, fam. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting task. I just would like to see more brothers that have the mindset of building to be on board. But I believe that before that can happen, it's gonna take the brothers in this truth to actually come together and for the people to see us on the land. Don't jump on board when things are starting to pop, fam. Don't be those kind of people, man. Don't be those kind of people that when things start to really start popping, now all of a sudden you want to jump on board. Now all of a sudden I don't like that, fam. You got to be about it, man. You got to be about it. You got to get tired of being tired of just being a slave, tired of somebody controlling where you live, controlling, again, when you have time, look at Pastor Dow's channel. Just look at some of his construction videos and see what they're doing. Look at the community. These people literally build, I'm not sure, I never asked how many homes is in their community. But they are always building houses. Everybody got their own house on the community. Everybody got their own house. Everybody got their own house. They're building houses all day. And what's crazy is, I'm not sure exactly. I think Pastor Dow is in Tennessee. I think he's in Tennessee. I looked up Tennessee, and a lot of those houses are expensive. Like, houses is expensive over there. Like, some of those houses to rent is crazy. It's like, who's doing that? Who's renting houses at those prices? Like, that doesn't even make no sense. You know? I'm not sure if it's Nashville. I'm not sure, but I believe it's Tennessee. And a lot of the houses out there for rent is crazy expensive, and it's not even spacious. It don't even make no sense. So to me, the best thing to do is having land and property. You know what I mean? Having land where we build. This is why we're supposed to be a community and build together, because all of us have skilled trades. Primarily, I'm talking to the men. A lot of you guys might be electricians, plumbers, masons, and I'm talking about the good masons, not a Freemasons or anything like that, you know what I mean? And you know how to do certain things, welders, and all of those skilled trades can be useful when it comes to actually building community. And I believe that when the brothers actually start to come together and build, then we might be able to even have assistance from Pastor Dow. Because a wise man is not going to get involved if he don't see the brethren actually putting in any work, if that makes sense. I mean, I personally wouldn't get involved with giving any assistance if I realize that you guys are not really serious. If I'm Pastor Dow, I wouldn't even look your way. I mean, I see you respectfully, I see you, but if I don't see action, you guys are not ready. So he would have to see the men on ground, boots on ground, Timberland boots, working. And then when the men are there, and you probably figure, hey, you know what? Let me reach out and see if he can assist. Maybe he can come down, see where we at, see what he think. Because he see all the guys actually serious, things will get popping. But it has to take men coming together. You have to come together. You know? Funding, when it comes to funding, there's several different ways that we can have funding for this particular project or whatever the case is. Obviously, you have the usual GoFundMe. That's one. But I'm kind of looking at it from the mindset of people believing in the work. They have to see something. And I'm going to talk with the guys behind the scenes about all of that. But nothing could get done without the help of the people and without teamwork. Teamwork make the dream work. But it have to be with people that are of like-mindedness, that want to live life rather than struggling and going through a bunch of problems. So that being said, guys, appreciate y'all stopping by. Hope you enjoyed the stream. The little conversation we had, side conversations about different issues. It's like when you get to a point in life, you get a little more mature, you start seeing life in a different way. Things are, like for me, property and land is on my mind. I don't care about nothing else. Property and land. But not the typical way everybody else is doing it. You have to really own stuff. And buying land and building upon that land is the best thing you can do. You know, like I'm going to literally start to put my plans together on the actual house that I want and get the blueprint done, because I'm an artist as well. Like I'm crazy when it comes to drawing. I never showed y'all none of my work, but I'm pretty good. I'm going to sketch up a house the way I want it and look at it, find out how much it would cost to build this house with materials. There's different types of materials. When I tell you, fam, these houses, man, that they be having for rent in all these different places, all this money is pure robbery. It's pure robbery, fam. I'm telling you. I'm a carpenter by trade, meaning that I have the skilled trade. There's a lot of things that I know. I'm not how can I say, like a master carpenter, but I have the skilled trades, so I know how to do certain things. And I can tell you that a lot of these homes that people are renting and buying cost pennies to build. And half of them, the material that is used is cheap. You know, it's poor material. You're going to end up having more energy costs because The homes are not properly insulated. They don't have good materials to retain the heat in the houses. There's so many different things I can point out, but a lot of these homes are not really good homes. They're really not. You might like them based on how they look. They might look nice. They might have room, all of that other stuff. But when it comes to safety, electrical, plumbing, and various other things, there's a lot of shortcuts that goes into a lot of these homes that are built. And they fabricate them quick. Some companies actually fabricate homes and bring them to the site, meaning these homes are fabricated in a factory type environment, and then they bring these homes on location, you know? These are like skilled trades us as men should know. Building homes should be something all of us brothers are doing all day. And when we work together in that regard, I think we'll solve a lot of the problems that we have, because we're actually understanding what being a man really is. It's not just about having a job, but it's about building community, something that we talk about, but people are not really seeing it, you know? Besides Pastor Dow, there was another guy, I believe, that Pastor Dow debated at one time. He also built, like, they also built community and stuff like that. So there's other people that do these things. It's just that we need all the brothers coming together to do this, especially so the women can see, you know? Because they always talking about we're not building nothing and we're not doing nothing and all of this other stuff. But it takes unity to do it. You know, it takes unity to do it. It can't just be one person doing it, you know? Let me see. Yeah, these homes that be all, first of all, listen, if you paid $300,000 to build a house, you know how much house you can get for $300,000? You know these mansions that these celebrities be paying $2, $3, $4, $5 million for? That's what you can get. Did you just hear what I said? $300,000 can get you a mansion built. Yeah. I'm talking about a mega mansion type place, man. I like high ceilings. I don't know about you, but I like high ceilings. I like roomy, airy places. You know, every room don't have to be like a high ceiling, but I like high ceilings. You know what I mean? At least probably depending on what room you're in, possibly around 12 to 16 feet high, depending on the room though. You know, if you're in like a living room, family room environment, I need a 20-foot ceiling. I need a high ceiling. To me, if I don't have a high ceiling, I don't feel like I'm in a house. I just don't. That area of the house, before you walk up the stairs, it needs to be a 20-foot ceiling with a chandelier, some sort of lighting. I need to see that. If I don't see that, I don't feel like I'm in a house. You know, tall ceilings, that way you can breathe. You can, you know, it's good. And especially if you're building like a studio, because the way I'm going to do it when I do my design, I'm going to design the actual studio room in the plan, so I know how I'm going to have it. And within the construction, all of the acoustic treatment will be done internally within the room in the construction. So once you do the house and you build it up, the plans is going to be to make the studio within the place. So it's, how can I say? So it's decoupled from the structure of the house. In other words, the studio would be like in the center area of the house, but the way the construction is, it'll be decoupled from the rest of the house so that vibration, bass, sound doesn't really transmit at all to other parts of the property. All of that got to go into the plans. So you got to know how to do your plans in a way where sound transmission is pretty much limited so that you don't hear anything. So I got to design that. And then, I mean, the plans, the way I'm going to hook it up, it's not going to be perfect, but when you let another skilled trades guy check out the plans, they'll be able to make the corrections necessary. It's all about just having your vision. Once you have your vision, other guys that have their different expertise will be able to look at your plans and say, okay, boom, we see exactly what you're trying to do. Well, with this, you'll need this, that, and boom, we could get it done. You know? Yeah, homes are super expensive, worse than paying rent. But see, the new thing that they're trying to do now in the housing market is they're trying to make you feel comfortable with paying rent than paying a mortgage. I actually seen an advertisement where they was like, why pay a mortgage when you could just rent? And I'm like, that don't even make no sense. It's like you renting, you don't own nothing. And when they're ready, they could kick you out of the house with an eviction if things don't, you know what I mean? You're renting a property, so it's not like you own it. When you own property, it feels better. When you renting property, there's certain things you just can't do. You know what I mean? Those of you that rent, you know this already. So what they're trying to do now is they're trying to buy up all the houses so that everybody is just renting forever. And then with these lease, you know, some of them, you can't even get comfortable because when your lease is up, they want you out. So it's like you're going to be moving around like you crazy. That don't even make no sense. You know, that don't make sense. You want to be able to be comfortable and build. This is why I'm saying building community and building your own houses is the best way to go. It's the best way to go. And there's different ways you can do this. You can hire people. You have a lot of people that are good carpenters, skilled trade guys, and they can bring your vision to pass. They have various different places. You just got to get on board and really get it popping, man. Got to have some money put away and figure out how to get this plan rolling. And literally everybody can get a house built in a community setting, meaning we build our own community and we control the community. You know what I mean? That's what you call living life. Not this life that they want to give you where you're just kind of just working and paying rent and it's like you don't own nothing. That's not that's bondage. You know? Any form of renting is it doesn't even make sense because you don't own nothing. Imagine all that money you giving somebody and you don't even own it. You're paying this monthly rent just to stay. That don't make sense. So they literally keep people in a prison where they're just paying rent and paying and got to come a time where you want to own the property. You want, you know, and even if you're a home owner, it's still a losing battle because you're paying for something that they're ripping you off either way. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm saying you can go get a house and get a loan from a bank and do all of that type of stuff. Your credit is good, all of that mess. You could do that, but it's crazy, man. It's like the money that you're going to be paying for that house, it don't make sense. It don't make sense. That's why community building is a must. It's a must, but you need to have people that's on board that understand the assignment. And I think that that's one of the main things that attracts women is when they really see the guys focusing on what's really important. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the missing things. It's like everybody's doing the same thing, working to pay bills, but there's no real building going on. Like you don't have men that are on the ground building. This is why Pastor Dow videos are very important for us men to get motivated and actually become a man. Look at what those guys are doing on the land. Go watch his videos. Go watch the videos and look at the way they, you know, doing what they got, laying the concrete, doing this, that you see the truck pull up on the property. When you see stuff like that, that gotta motivate you. It gotta do something to you as a man. There's no way you could just sit there and watch those videos and be comfortable with where you are. You gotta be like Pastor Dow, right? I mean, they're on their own land. They're living a life that the Bible says we're supposed to live. Pastor Dow and the community of Straightway is living better than a TD Jakes. They're living better than a Creflo Dollar. They're living better than rock stars, rappers, and movie actors. Do you understand me? They're eating better. They raise their own chickens. They raise this. They do that. They plant their own gardens. Fam, if I was ever to be able to visit Straightway, I don't know how I would feel, because I watch it on the videos and just looking at it, like I would just probably just stand there. Pastor Dow probably be like, "Hey, come on in, Ringo." Like, I'll just be like, let me just stand right here and just look at everything. Because when I look at the videos and I see how everybody living, I'm like, dag, these people are literally in heaven already on earth. They're in heaven on earth. Now, of course, they might have their own challenges. We all got challenges. But they're living an abundant life that is way more advanced than what a lot of us are out here trying to do. And it's real. It's just that serious. You know? So that's supposed to really motivate you to see, like, man, the Most High hand is on Pastor Dow and the brethren, because they're doing the work. They're building legacy. And that's what us men are supposed to be doing. A lot of us are still playing church when we're supposed to have boots on the ground. We busy quoting scriptures when we should have boots on the ground, actually building community for our children's children, rather than the government controlling us and the housing market controlling us, and we got to take the crumbs and whatever they want us to take. And it's like, it don't make sense. Like, when you really think about it, fam, what is the most popular board game? Put it in the chat. Let's see if you're reading my mind. Let's see if you're reading my mind. Because that's what life is all about. Monopoly. There you go. Monopoly. One of the most popular board games ever. And A lot of people don't understand that. Monopoly deals with control of supply, possession, control. Remember, in the game Monopoly, if you can buy up all the houses, especially on Park Place, every time somebody landed there, they got to pay you money. They control everything, fam. They control everything to the point where we keep landing on Park Place and we have to keep giving them our money. We got to keep shelling out cash. You remember the game? Anytime you come around that corner and you land on any of those houses, you got to pay up. And that's what they're doing with us right now. They're buying everything out to the point where you got nowhere to go but to them to pay. That's where we are right now. So while we playing church, quoting scriptures, we're not realizing that they buying up all the property, all the houses. And we busy renting these houses or going into these 30-year mortgages, you know, refinancing, doing all of this other mess, going deeper in debt, struggling. When is enough enough? When are you going to get tired? You got to come a point where you get tired of playing the rat race and find out, okay, what's the most important thing? Land. Land. Owning land is true freedom. Owning property, true freedom. Growing your own food, freedom. We're stuck in a matrix that says, go to a job, get a paycheck, rent an apartment, you're good. Nah, fam, that's not good. That's not good, bro. That's not peace. That's not enough. Got to do better. So hopefully one day, Most High willing, you'll see me, New Breed, the brethren in North Carolina on the land, talking about what needs to be done, what do we got to do, and get things started, man. Because it is really, really serious. It is really serious. If we don't get things going, we're going to be in a situation where they're going to control everything and people are going to be put out of their houses, put out of their apartments. Everybody going to be homeless. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be one big mess because the powers that be own all of these properties, and it's just not good. Nobody should be owning all of that stuff. You need to own your own stuff, especially when you got a family to take care of. You know, it's the most important thing. So we're going to see how it goes and whatnot. We're going to see how it goes. I just can't wait to start. Once I start, I'm working nonstop, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'll still be doing content, but once we get this thing popping, ain't no stopping. Like, I'm working all day. I'm like, look, guys, we got to have this house ready. We got a family moving in. Okay, guys, let's get this work done. Have a whole team. More brothers coming on board. Before you know it, we got a whole crew. We throwing houses up like every couple of weeks. Houses are done. Cause they do this all the time. They do this all the time. You got various companies that have a team of workers and they build houses every single time, throwing them things up like it ain't nothing. Like hotcakes, houses are being built. You know? Anyway, y'all, we're going to get up on out of here. Appreciate everybody stopping by, having these little conversations and whatnot. Hoping it inspired you and you start to thinking outside the box and whatnot. And that's about it, fam. So, hey, leave your thoughts on the video, fam, that we just finished reviewing and whatnot. Jessica got 27 years after a hit and run of NYPD traffic officer, I believe it is, left them to die. Family man, husband, father. And she was also a cop hater. And they gave her 27 years. She turned down the plea deal, which would have got her about 15 to 16 years. She should have just took that and did the 16, because she was going to get the 16 either way. She was going to get some time because, like I said, you hit somebody and you run. Come on, man. You can't do that. You know you can't do that and think that you're going to get a light sentence. It's not going to hold, man. Just do the 16 years. But damn, 27? 27 years, bro. That's crazy. So, hey, we'll catch you in the morning time. It is what it is. Make sure you subscribe to the Ringo TV Raw channel as well. If you're not subscribed over there, we dropped a video over there yesterday. And we're going to try to do different things when it comes to content. I got a lot of things that I'm doing behind the scenes. There's so many things that I'm doing, but I'm hopeful and I'm focused and I'm blessed. And always keep your words positive. That's another thing, guys. Keep your words positive. Try to, sometimes people be saying they tired of this, they tired of that. Or you hear some people say, I'm sick and tired of this. Let's not do that no more. Don't say you're sick and tired of this. Don't say you're tired of that. Learn how to speak life and prosperity over your life, blessings over your life. Let's say, for example, you don't have the money or whatever the case is. Don't say you're broke. Don't say you lack this. Don't say those words. You're cursing yourself. Don't say those things. Even if you're not where you want to be, just say, I'm on my way. I'm on my way to success. Say you're successful. Say you're healthy. Even if the circumstances don't look that way, speak life over your life, because words hold power. Remember, Jessica said, F the police, and she was wishing death on police. And it came to pass. It came to pass. The thing she said came to pass. Because death and life is in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. If she would have took the plea deal, she could have did the 15, 16 years. She would have been out. She would have still been an older woman because she's 34. So either way, she would have been like, what, 50? 50 or 49? I'm not sure. But so she gonna be out. She gonna be out like when she's, dang, man. Yo, she gonna be pushing 60 years old, man. Man. She gonna be done, bro. Man. Yeah, she would have been out when she was 50. So now she's getting out at 61. So much for being a mom, so much for becoming a wife, having a family. She just threw her life away. She just threw her life away, fam. So anyway, guys, y'all take care. I'm going to go grab me something to eat, go catch me some Netflix, and watch a movie, fam. You know how it is. I'm going to go watch me a movie. You know what I'm saying? Go watch me a movie and just chill out and find out what's on the plan for. Oh, yeah. We're going to be doing the video of what is that movie I said? Not movie, but it's a, let me see. Where is it? Oh. It's a series of videos of some woman went viral, and I said I was going to be doing a video about it. 50-part series, something about who the F did I married or some nonsense like that. It's a 50-part series. We're going to break down the entire series. So I'm going to pretty much do that. And it's going to be interesting because we're going to break down the whole thing. Somebody said that's going to probably take forever. Nah, not necessarily. I know how to edit videos, and I edit it in a way where I pretty much chopped the time in half. So we're going to be able to really dive into it to see what the fuss is all about. But it's a lot of crazy stuff because her video went ultra viral. So yeah, so let's get on out of here. Appreciate everybody stopping by. Again, hope the content inspired you, especially the ending of this video. Like, we had a little conversation about different things. Hopefully that will motivate people to think outside the box, not get comfortable with where their life is. We're all on a journey, trying to survive, trying to do different things. Just be positive. You know what I mean? Don't let nothing stress you out, even though stress will come knocking at your door. You know, don't let it break you down, right? Be positive, be optimistic about the situation, be inspired, be encouraged. Stop thinking of the negative, think of the positive. Even when all things is around you going crazy, you have to take control of your mind, because if not, you're going to be like everybody else. You're going to be fearful. You're going to be scared. You're going to be anxious. You don't want to feel those type of emotions and those type of pressures. You don't want to feel that, because it'll ruin your day. And then you'll ruin someone else's day. You know? So we're going to get up on out of here. Ringo TV Reactions. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. #1 reactionary channel on YouTube. There is no other. Ringo TV. The #1 reactionary channel on YouTube, hands down, providing you the best in these YouTube streets. There is no other. Ringo TV Reactions. Providing you and yours with the best reactionary videos on YouTube. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We'll catch you in the next video. Peace and blessings to the mods in the chat. Everybody that's supporting rock with the platform. We out. Y'all take care. Peace.
If you like our content, consider supporting via Cash App at $Ringo TV Raw. Become a patron on patreon.com for exclusive video content not shown on YouTube. You could also support through PayPal at paypal.me/Ringo TV Raw. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified of new content. Follow me on Instagram at Ringo TV Raw.
This is Ringo TV Reactions, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the truth, 100% raw and uncut. I'm out. Peace.